Hello, good morning, and welcome to this taste challenge. I have two 40% alcohol Canadian blended whiskeys. This is Potter's Crown, introduced in 1983 by Frank-Lin Distilling Products Company, and it's still owned by them, so it's never changed hands. Never seen it in my town or anywhere in this parish. We don't have counties in Louisiana. We have parishes, which is, well, it's the same thing, basically. Except the parishes were based on church parishes back under the rule of France and Spain. Louisiana had no separation of church and state. The church and the state were united. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the civil parishes came about, because of the church parishes. But anyway, when Louisiana was sold to the United States, they just continued that practice, obviously without the connection between the church and the state anymore. But they just used the church parish name for the civil parish. It was convenient, and they still do it. Okay, so here is Potter's Crown Canadian whiskey. It's got a, I hope it'll focus again. It's got a crown for King Charles III, King of Canada. Well, it was Queen Elizabeth II when they started this product. King of Canada, the Turks and Caicos Islands, Gibraltar in Europe, Bermuda in the Atlantic Ocean, and other realms and territories around the world. All right, anyway, Canada being a Commonwealth realm, not a territory. And in fact, the first British colonies to become a self-governing country, or as Queen Elizabeth said, the first independent country inside the British Empire, basically, type of situation. Okay, distilled and blended in Canada, but it's bottled in California by Frank-Lin. And I'll show you the website. James Lassane says, good morning, brother. Good morning to you. Thanks for watching. Okay, Frank-Lin Distillers Products Limited. Limited, usually that's a Commonwealth term, not United States usually say incorporated, but whatever. Okay, so business model, construction, family owned. Proud to announce successful level 2 SQF certification. Okay. They have contract bottling, which is probably a big part of their business, premium brands, and value brands. They don't distill liquor. They bottle liquor and sell it. There's their new building. They're what we call an independent bottler. Independent bottler, which they have their own Scotch whiskey brands, Blackburns, Douglas, Potters, Muirheads, Blue Sea, 3 year and 5 year. Never heard of any of those. They've got single malt on here, Glenrannoch, and all these other ones. Those. And then there's a pure malt. I don't know what that is. Scotch whiskey. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up when I get a chance. What is pure malt whiskey? So yeah, I don't know who makes those products. Probably some big, probably one of the big distilling companies, one of the big distilleries in Scotland, but they're going to use an alias name. They're not going to put their name on it. Okay, here is Gran Legacy Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. I love these names because it's not grand and it's not a legacy. No one says, you remember back in the good old days we would drink Grand Legacy? No. They didn't even bother to get a trademark on it. If you notice, it doesn't say TM trademarked. There's a crown, once again, for Canada. A copper pot still, which this is almost certainly not distilled in a copper pot still. It's probably all column still. But coffee still. That man Coffee invented it. But anyway, it's got purple. A lot of Canadian whiskeys use purple for royalty. And if you get the American blended whiskey, it's brown and black, which American blended whiskeys usually use that color scheme. If you notice, brown, khaki, yellow. And then they've got blue for the white rum and red for the vodka and so forth. But this is all gone. The last 2 years I've been to CVS Pharmacy, it's all gone. They kept the vodka around, and then they probably sold all the rest of it, and it disappeared. And oh, they sell plenty of liquor over there. I'm not saying, but it's all national brands, like Jägermeister, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Glenlivet, Scotch. You know what I'm saying? The regular stuff. They have some private label. They still have a private label bourbon called Jethro T. Boots, which seems to be steady seller. Probably the most inexpensive bourbon you can buy, straight sour mash bourbon you can buy on the market. And there's an independent label, a private label cream liqueur, Irish cream liqueur, made by Mary and Company, who makes like most of the Irish creams that go under anybody's brand that wants to brand it. Get on Mary and Company's website, and that's what they talk about: private labeling, contract production, to go against, the big one, Bailey's. Bailey's is the big one. Although most people that taste them all will tell you it's not really any better. It's not worse by any means, but it's not better. It's just the most well-known, and it's the original. The original Irish cream liqueur is Bailey's. 50 years ago it was introduced. So you get a name out there, and people are going to still pay the extra $10 a bottle because they're familiar with it. They know it, I just haven't been too encouraged to go spend that kind of money for something I know is going to be the same old stuff. But back to this. I have seen Grand Legacy in other stores now, not linked to CVS Pharmacy. And that's why I'm pretty sure it was discontinued, because they probably decided that this wasn't really moving like they had wanted it to move. I only paid $10.99 for this bottle with the CVS card. This was $14.99 at International Market. So what they'll do is they'll just release it to whoever wants to buy it. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell the distributor, look, we're cutting this product. We know you got a warehouse full of it, but you just release it to anybody in a normal practice, however they want to, And so when I saw this at Star, I was shocked. I said, hey, wait, I think that's and it's got an interesting feel to it. You can feel there's a raised, almost like braille with plastic. It's interesting. It's not just flat paper. But I said, look at this. Didn't even have a price tag. And I asked the guy, how much is this? He said $10.99. I said, oh, well, I was just asking for the price. It didn't have a tag. He said, well, I'll tell you what, if you buy it, I'll sell it for $7.99. I said, I'll buy it. And I bought it from my friend David, but he didn't like it. So he gave it back to me, and I have that bottle in another room, in the closet, actually. So they can do that if the original company decides to scrap it. They'll just release it to whoever wants to put it in their store, hopefully sell it. So not a private label. Well, formerly a private label, now a cast off. No age statement. They're both amber gold, so appearance won't matter. I poured just the right amount, a little bit. I didn't go over pour it. Got to watch these big bottles with the built-in pourer, as they say on the bottle, because they'll gush out. They're designed so there's no glug, glug, glug from the air going, and you can fill a glass fast on accident. So got to really barely tilt it for it to come out. All right. I think the tip-off is going to be like the others, that it's got that kind of vanilla nutty aroma. It's like literally you would think they're adding vanilla extract and oil or nut extract. I don't know if that even exists, a nut extract. It's probably just an oil from like pecans or walnuts. Well, you could buy peanut oil at the store, which is more of a bean than a nut. I know it's a legume. But they got all kind of oils you can buy. Grape seed oil. Whether that's good for cooking or so, I don't know. Okay, this doesn't have that. This has just straight grain, meaning corn, a little rye, and that kind of stuff. So it's just a straight flavor, aroma. This one seems to be tweaked, which we talked about this, or I should say, I talked about it, but as people listening, Canadian whiskey is allowed to have flavoring and coloring added. I'll even show you the link, Canada whiskey regulations. It'll bring up, yeah, there it is. And this is what we call a primary source. It's not somebody, because a lot of people will tell me like something about a liquor or a beer, and I'm like, where'd you find that? Oh, it was on Untapped. They gave the bitterness units. Well, that's not an official. That's just anybody can add that to Untapped, and it might go through and they'll post it, but it's not official. If it doesn't say it from the liquor company or the beer company, then you got to wonder. And I've had instances where it was wrong. Now, a distributor, probably you can trust that because they're usually or almost always getting their information straight from the brewery or the distillery. They're not going to go research it. They give them what they call a sell sheet, or it might be a computer file, and they'll just copy and paste it onto their website. But still, that's still a secondary source. You want to go primary source. Primary, meaning to the source. So here's the source. And then we'll do the tasting. Government of Canada and about laws, namely food and drug laws. Well, this is a type of food, liquid food, right? Consumable. Canadian whiskey, Canadian rye, or rye whiskey. That's 3 names for it, official names. Section B, subsection 0.2, and schedule 0.020, whatever. Canadian whiskey, A, shall be a potable, that means you could drink potable alcoholic distillate, or a mixture of potable alcoholic distillates obtained from a mash of cereal grain or cereal grain products. Could that be syrups? Saccharified by the diastase of malt or other enzymes. Now I get scientific. And fermented by the action of yeast or a mixture of yeast and other microorganisms. It shall be aged in small wood for not less than 3 years. That means, that's another term for a barrel, oak barrel. But it just says wood, doesn't say oak specifically, does it? But that's used. Possess the aroma, taste, and character generally attributed to Canadian whiskey. Now, how do you quantify that? U.S. laws say the same. Aroma, taste, and character generally attributed to Canadian whiskey. Be manufactured in accordance with the requirements of the Excise Act. And if you read that, they're just talking about who you got to pay the taxes to and when you have to file reports and that kind of thing. That's where they talk about the ingredients or anything like that. And the regulations made thereunder. Be mashed, distilled, and aged in Canada. And now notice it doesn't say bottled in Canada. Contain not less than 40% alcohol by volume. So the lowest whiskey in Canada is like the United States. You go below 40, it's not a whiskey. It's product, a whiskey-based product, so forth, liqueur and all that. May contain caramel and flavoring. That's all it says. They didn't even say natural flavor anymore. Oh man, you hope they're not using artificial flavoring and flavoring. That's all it says. 2 subsection 3, no person shall make any claim with respect to the age of Canadian whiskey, other than for the period during which the whiskey has been held in small wood. Okay, so and then they have a rider there, an add-on, where Canadian whiskey has been aged in small wood for a period of at least 3 years. Any period not except during which that whiskey was held in other containers may be claimed as aged. So what they're saying is they could have it in like a steel container for 6 months during that 3-year period, and they can still claim it as the age. So there is It's kind of like 2.5 years, really, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. And that was updated October 15, 2024. That was updated, modified. What's today? 23rd, 24th? Yeah. 9 days ago. So this is fresh. And then they have the all these other things, consolidation of the Constitution Acts, all this stuff. Okay, so that's what lawyers look at. I know. That's what lawyers look at. I'm not a lawyer. It's still interesting to look at it because you get specific, correct information. So I was saying that it had to be natural flavors, but that was maybe 9 days ago when I looked at it last time, maybe 2 weeks ago. See what I'm saying? Now it just said flavorings. So they're becoming less and less restrictive on it. You say, why? Look, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. The old regulations, when I first started looking that up years ago, would tell you what type of flavoring. And they were very specific. Say it can include wine that has to be aged in oak barrels and all that, but that's all been dropped. I guess they figure, look, people will figure it out. If it tastes bad, they won't buy it. As simple as that. If it tastes good, they'll buy it. And if it's junk, they won't buy it. It'll be like this. It'll get discontinued. Let the market decide. Well, I'm all for free enterprise, so I would agree with that. Let the market decide. Because the rule, it's enforcement can be difficult if it's so specified, and how do you even find out? It becomes a real headache. All right, I'm sure Canada got bigger problems than worrying about what kind of flavoring is in the liquor. As long as it's not, dangerous, making people sick, that's a different story. Yeah. Yep. Same old thing. Meaning the same old Sazerakian Canadian whiskey taste. Doesn't taste exact. You say Sazerac, you said Legacy Distilling. Well, Legacy Distilling is a registered trade name of the Sazerac / Buffalo Trace Company. All right. They have over 100, I think. If you look at the list, it's like, what is all of this? The Legacy Distilling Company, 70, the Founders Company, that's another one, IWA Distilling, and it's all the same people. And it'll always say Louisville, Kentucky. And the guy on the phone told me that's our office. He said there's no bottling plant there. It's just an office where our lawyers work. That's what he said on the phone. He said it's all bottled at Buffalo Trace, but they put the office town on it. I would think he would know. He works for him. And I never heard of any Sazerac distillery in Louisville. And I looked up Sazerac Louisville, and it showed an office building on the Google Maps. It's clearly not a production facility. It's like a business park. Pretty big office. But this one is just like straight regular whiskey, meaning no add-ons. Doesn't taste like there's any flavoring added. Might have caramel coloring to make it look darker, though. Would it really get that dark? Seasoned, let's call it used cooperage, an old barrel. But it doesn't taste like there's any flavor there. This one does. They're both medium bodied, both finished mostly dry, meaning they don't linger on the flavor too long and all that. They're not too sweet. There's no off flavors, no like, what is this flavor? It's stomach turning, nothing like that. It's just plain Jane regular whiskey. That is it. And when you're paying a super low price like this, then that's not negative because you weren't paying for anything exotic or, really developed like, oh, wow, it's amazing flavor. No, you just figure, it's basic, so I can deal with it. And this is basic, and I can deal with it. Now, These flavors, like I said, taste like nut oil, like walnut oil or vanilla or both and all. Is it bad? No. They probably tasted it at the distillery and were like, that's pretty good. 10.99 a bottle. Who's going to care? And the answer is probably nobody. But then there weren't enough people buying it. Most of the people watching this video can't even get liquor at a pharmacy chain. Most states don't allow that, but Louisiana does, and we get it. I'm thinking of the 2 pharmacy chain. Well, I'm thinking of 3 because Walmart has a pharmacy. It's where I got my medicine. When I got my leg cut at work, which I never got paid for, by the way, but it was only $4.88, so no big deal. But they all sell liquor. Walmart and the 2 national pharmacy chains, which are about to shut down all their stores, it seemed like. And I've had a lot of viewers tell me, Walmart sells liquor where you live? I say, yeah, it's just like a regular section of the store. And you could just pull it off the shelf yourself and go check out. Now, some of the more expensive ones that people might try to steal, they're locked in a cabinet, a glass, and they'll unlock it and get it for you. The stuff that they know people might want to take, meaning steal. People are stupid, though. There's cameras everywhere these days. Anything you do, there's cameras. Like, you see all these crimes, and you say the person don't realize that like all the houses have camera. Like they had a shooting over here across the highway, 2 people killed. And it's like, wow, they really are stupid because you're driving around and they got your license plate. Every red light got a camera, traffic camera, and then they caught them, so fast because it's not like anybody else is driving their car. Or now sometimes a car is stolen, but whatever, they'll track it back. No. So yeah, but Walmart does fight against that, and I'm a ruthless enemy of theft. I'm the criminal's worst enemy, I guess you could say. If I ran for office, they would say, what is your position on violent crime? I would say, you don't want to know. It would be so bad you wouldn't imagine that it could come from my mouth. But I would be your best friend if you're a law-abiding citizen, want to do the right thing, earn your own money, not steal. And if you were a criminal, it would be a bad problem for you. But anyway, this one tastes fine, but it's nothing elaborate. Tab says shape. What does that mean, shape? People make comments sometimes I don't understand. And I've had some people get offended, like, you're making fun of me. I said, I'm not making fun of you. I don't understand what you're talking about. You understand? What you're saying, I don't get. That's the point. We had somebody making comments last night when we were doing the Elysian video, and people said, just kick the guy out. He's saying stuff that's totally off the wall, makes no kind of sense. It's offensive. And I was like, okay, I was getting tired of it. Comment above shape. Comment above shape. Good morning, bro. I don't understand that terminology. But anyway, so unfortunately, we had to put him out the comments because there was no point to what he was saying. But anyway. And I had one beer reviewer tell me he's finished. He's out. His family was talking to him like, you're drinking too much. This is a problem. And then he said he had health problems. Well, man, if you're going to have health problems and you're drinking, it's time to call it off. He told me this morning, overnight, he said, I need to get some new hobbies. I was like, exactly. Because now it's gotten ahead of you. It's like the hobby's running you. Well, then it's time to call it off. Finish it. And I've warned people about this over the years. Don't let a hobby like, tasting liquor and beer turn into a life disaster. But you can, because beer, wine, and liquor is like fire. It's useful but dangerous. We can use fire, obviously, for cooking and all that, but it can burn your house down. It can burn you. So it's dangerous. Liquor, same thing. It's useful, but it's dangerous. It's not a moral product, though. It's not a morally this or that product. It's a morally neutral product, right? Canadian whiskey is morally neutral. It's neither good nor bad. It's just a consumer product. Now, the method in which it's used can have a moral connotation, right? Tasting it and all that, normal, moderate behavior, all right? Useful and even a good thing. Remember, Jesus Christ turned water into wine. But then the Bible is full of warnings against wine bibbing. They call it wine bibbing. I guess an old English term for being a drunk wine bibber, because the Bible was translated, by the English scholars. So they use those kind of terms, wine bibbers. Or like I was reading this morning, the Passover, they call it the phase. But they were saying when you observe the phase, but that's like no one would use that term today. Then no one's going to say, oh, it's the Jewish people are observing the phase. No, they're going to call it Passover. But that was a terminology from, the Renaissance day, late Middle Ages, early Renaissance. The phase. All right, so some of those terms are antiquated. Cheers, Louisiana Liquor Reviews. If you're not held accountable for your actions, why should they care? Cool. That's right. Cool looking jacket. Have a great day, Louisiana Reviews. Thank you. My father gave me this jacket. It's comfortable. It's old. It's from the 80s. That 80s style. With the. All right. Now I've just got to go find a members only jacket, right? All right. These are close, but they're not identical. And personal preference, I do like the flavoring a little bit better, kind of gives it a little character, but it's nothing fabulous, but it does give it a little help. Let's say a little help. Helps it along. So I'm going to say this is the Gran Legacy, which is, like I said, neither Gran nor any kind of legacy, but you know how these names, like the legendary, they call that bourbon, the legendary Stedman Select. I said the legendary, ain't nobody ever even heard of it. Sure hope this has a letter C on the bottom. It does. The competitor wins, and I won because I got it right. And I think that puts me at like 6-1. I think if I counted right, I got 6 wins and 1 loss. Well, I had one little hiccup there. What's coming in next? Oh, I have a whole bunch of Canadian whiskey lined up. If you want to see what's next, I'll show it to you. If not, we'll get off the air or off the wire. You say, well, I'm using Wi-Fi. Okay, off the air for you. You say, I'm using a hard cable. Okay, off the wire for you. Let's see what. Okay, Craft Beer-tastic. Hold on. So, here you go. All right, I'm wearing short pants, but my legs were cold out there walking. It's kind of chilly outside, but it's supposed to get up to 86 today. I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to get that warm, but I think AccuWeather is not always that accurate. It never quite gets as hot as they say it's going to get, and it does, and it always gets cooler than they say, though. They'll say tonight the low is going to be 60. Well, you could figure it's going to be 58 or lower. I don't know why that happened, but it is. It'll be cooler. Here's Caliber, another non-celebrated whiskey. Yeah, it's a Walmart brand. I know that to be true because the trademark is held by Walmart, which the government calls Apollo Walmart. Apollo, that must be their legal name, Apollo. Why would they call it Apollo? But this is coming up tomorrow, Friday. And then tomorrow evening, now remember, it's 6:30 Eastern tomorrow, we're going to do liquor or liqueur. And I'm bringing in a liqueur that somebody sent me. A liquor company literally sent me this liqueur. And I think, to be fair, I'll post it today. I'll jump the gun and post it today. I just got to upload it to the computer and download it to the, you know what I'm saying? Download it and then upload it. There's the crown and the two maple leaves. Premium, naturally, of course, it's premium. And it's purple, same old story, purple for Canada, the royal family. A smooth and mellow blend, from our master distillers. Well, everything they make is from a master distiller. Every liquor company has a master distiller. Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. Oh, boy. Well, you can get it at Walmart. It's so cheap. For the longest time, it was $10.96. Always. Now it's up to $13.99, I think. Yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's not bad. It's nothing remarkable, but it's on par with Grand Legacy. Walmart in 2004. That's from '04. Walmart said we're going to make a Canadian whiskey brand, and so I think the pharmacy company said we are too, but they didn't keep theirs. But Walmart still got theirs rolling along, boy. All right, well, y'all take care. And what have I shown? Well, I can tell Potter's Crown from other ones. It does not taste like other Canadian whiskeys, except I got it wrong once. But I think I'm up to 7 wins. But I can tell it apart, and it's more of a pure, non-flavored whiskey type of situation. All right, y'all take care now. Bye bye.